when leaving the Middle East, were you under the impression that America's work was done there and that the issue was over?
Yeah, that was an interesting. That was interesting because at the time, it felt like the mission was done, and there was a little bit of chatter. I remember on the radio. I could hear it on the. I had a shortwave radio that I could use in the field, and I could pick up CNN International on it, and so I could hear a little bit of the chatter that was going on, and then you started to hear a little bit of why did we hold up and not follow Saddam and the rest of the Republican Guard all the way into Baghdad? Why did we finish them off? And, the commander-in-chief at the time, who was George Bush Sr., he felt that, that was a UN resolution to go in there. And the UN did not authorize us to be able to go in and kill Saddam Hussein. It was not a mission to kill or assassinate a leader. It also wasn't approved, or the mission to completely destroy the Iraqi army. I think he wanted to leave Iraq the ability to defend themselves, and he didn't. I don't think he felt that that going that far was authorized, and he didn't want the world community there to be a backlash from the world community. So, I felt that the mission of liberating Kuwait was accomplished. I mean, that was the initial mission, and certainly, Saddam his forces were greatly depleted, but as we know, history now tells us that the job in some ways wasn't finished, because that same Saddam Hussein and that same military that we left standing, came back to fight us again. So, hindsight's a lot easier, than where we were at the time. I felt like the job was done, and I sided with the president. But I also have a soft spot for that president because he was the one who got me home safely. So I felt like, I owed that president my support, and I felt very strongly about that. And to this day, I still feel that way about him, although I wouldn't necessarily consider myself a Republican. But I did really support, George Bush in his decision to bring us all home and to bring, a conclusion to that, to that conflict when it happened, because it was the right thing. I felt it was like at the time it was the right thing to do.